Hi guys, welcome back to Mansell Media Corner, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a retro WWE pay-per-view ranking of the year. In question is 1991. There's only 4 pay-per-views what I've got. So, in at number 4 was, this was actually on Sky Movies Plus. It's the UK Rampage, held on April the 4th, 1991 from London's Dockland Arena. Now, the reason why I've put this in number 1, this was just after a very good WrestleMania. But the match just seemed like a normal live house show. You had the likes of Jim the Anvil Neidhart versus the Warlord. The Rockers with Andre the Giant in their corner versus the Orient Express with Mr. Fuji in their corner. Haku versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. Got UK's own British Bulldog versus the Berserker. Got Texas Tornado versus the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. Earthquake versus Jake the Snake. Barbarian versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka. The Champ at the time, the Immortal Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. So yeah, it's an okay card, but you had, I believe the commentaries were Eddie Roddy Piper and Vince McMahon. But it was more like an early WrestleMania revenge tour, so. But there's a couple of decent matches. I hope the Haku versus Greg the Hammer Valentine match is decent. The British Bulldog versus Berserker. I think something happens, whether the lights go out or something, but the lights come back on or something like that happened during that match. Of course, got Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. But yeah, if you like old school wrestling from this period after WrestleMania 7, it's a decent watch. Now, in at number 3 is back. I think this is the only time the WWE ever went to Royal Albert Hall. This was held on the 3rd of October 1991. This is a lot better, and it's also Ric Flair's first appearance on pay-per-view with WWE. But the only moan, and it's gonna come up soon, it's not really a moan, it's just intriguing. You've got the Nasty Boys versus the Rockers, which was a decent tag team match. Then you got a really underrated match, which could have been a really good feud at the time if they would have worked a program. Tito Santana versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair, hell of a match. And you had Earthquake versus the Big Boss Man, which is average. And you got Undertaker versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan, which is a good match. I think this might have been the Undertaker's first appearance as well in the UK tours, live on pay-per-view. Got Texas Tornado versus the Mentor, which is okay. Got British Bulldog versus Barbarian, which is a decent match. Got Legion of Doom versus Power and Glory, which is Hercules and Paul Ram, and that's a good tag team match for the tag team titles. This is why I've put this at number 3. It's a 20-man over the top of Battle Royale. Now, the only issue I've got with this Battle Royale is usually, you know, when you see like AEW or TNA Battle Royale, I'm all in the ring at the same time. The heels are at one corner of the ring and the baby faces are at one corner of the ring, so it's technically babyface versus heels. But they was fighting over, I think it's called a Samafar Trophy, but this was one of the last appearances in the WWE on pay-per-view. It had of Andre the Giant as he helped the British Bulldog fend off Typhoon and the Earthquake, also known as the natural disasters. But the British Bulldog, I do believe, won this Battle Royale as well, which is pretty awesome. So that's in at number 3. In at number 2, bit of facts of this prestigious SummerSlam. This was held on August 26th, 1991 from Madison Square Garden. The attendance was 20,000 fans in attendance. If you don't know, it's the iconic SummerSlam. A lot of fillers on this match, but there's a couple of big matches, and I'm going to talk about the fillers. So, start off with, you had the commentary team of Rowdy Roddy Piper, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. The start of this was a filler. You had the likes of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, British Bulldog and Texas Tornado versus Power and Glory and the Warlord. This was an okayish 6-man tag, but the match next is a very interesting one when you read the backstory of Mr. Perfect having a really bad back injury, but he took on Bret Hitman Hart for the Intercontinental Championship match. What a hell of a match this was. I don't think they've ever had a bad match between them, even in World Championship Wrestling. But an absolute timeless. And here's another filler match with Natural Disasters, who just teamed up for the first time, which was Earthquake and Typhoon versus the legendary Bushwhackers. I wasn't a big fan of this match. I mean, I loved the Natural Disasters for their weight, because they were big guys, but they was very muscly fit. And you had the Bushwhackers, who was okay in this period, 1991. But you also had Bobby Heenan's special report when Flair, I think, just made his debut into the WWE. And Ric Flair at the time, I think, took the old big gold belt with him, which was the original World Championship Wrestling belt, to WWE, and he wanted a challenge. Bobby Brain Heenan basically wanted Hulk Hogan to fight Nature Boy Ric Flair, which I'd like to have on a in-house show circuits. But he had another great match, which was Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase versus the former bodyguard Virgil. This match was decent, what it was. It's for the $1 million title match. They have a really fun jailhouse match, which was Big Boss Man versus the Main T. And after this, you'd have really fun segments with the Main T going into jail, etc. And you'd have Nasty Boys versus the Legion of Doom for the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship match. In the street, no holds barred, I think it was. Which was a quality match. Don't get me wrong, I loved the Legion of Doom, and the Nasty Boys seem alright when you watch them being interviewed. But another filler match, which was IRS versus Greg the Hammer Valentine, didn't have any chemistry with each other. It was just a throwaway match, no storyline. But this next one's famous from behind the scenes of Ultimate Warrior wanting, I think it was extra pay at the time. And Vince McMahon said no to him, but it's Hulk Hogan in the Ultimate Warrior versus the Triangular Terror, which was Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, also known as Iron Sheik, and General Adnan, with Sid Justice, who just came into the WWF at the time from World Championship Wrestling. An iconic match from behind the scenes. Scenes purposes. Then we had, believe the flashback was on an episode of Superstars where Macho Man Randy Savage just got reinstated in the company. I think he was always in the company, but his character had left because he was the Macho King, if I recall, at WrestleMania 7. But the match made in Heaven's a really very interesting wedding at the time. It was Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth getting married. I think this was the first time a wedding was live on pay-per-view. Because there'd been plenty of weddings, but on like Saturday night's main event, etc. and Tuesday Night Titans. But this was an iconic wedding, and of course, everybody remembers the wedding reception with Jake the Snake Roberts turning heel. With, I think it was Lucifer, his snake. So that's in at number 2. In at number 1. I was just watching on YouTube the WWE channel, and I covered this match. This was Survivor Series, November 27th. A bit about this show as well. The attendance was 17,500 in attendance at the Joe Louis Arena. So, in the storyline, Jack the Snake Roberts, his snake, I think it was Lucifer, bit Randy Macho Man Savage at the time, which was shocking. And of course, Jack Tunney at the time was president of the company, had to address the situation. But to start with, this is why it's number 1. He had an absolute dream heel versus babyface team. The heels were Nature Boy Ric Flair, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, the main team, the Warlord versus the babyface team of Bret the Hitman Hart, Roddy Roddy Piper, Virgil and the British Bulldog. An absolute classic opening match for the Survivor Series. I think Ric Flair won, I can't remember if the other wrestlers got disqualified and Ric Flair was the sole survivor. But then you have Mean Gene interview Randy Macho Man Savage, which was the build-up to this Tuesday in Texas. So then we had a decent Survivor Series match. It was Sergeant Slaughter, who just turned babyface, teamed up with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Texas Tornado, and El Matador Tito Santana versus Colonel Mustafa, which was Iron Sheik, the Berserker, Hercules, and Skinner. All things just came into the WWF. Then we'd have a really interesting interview with Mean Gene Oakland, interviews Jake the Snake Roberts. Then we'd have a segment on Superstars, which was Undertaker attacks Hulk Hogan in the funeral parlour. Of course, the main match at the night at the time was championship match, Hulk Hogan, who was the champ, versus the dead man himself, The Undertaker. I believe Ric Flair helps The Undertaker win the title. At the time, which shocked the Hulkamaniacs, which was his fans. But you'd have an interview with Roddy Piper. Showman interviews Nature Boy Ric Flair, Mr. Perfect. Because they was feuding at the time. Was Roddy Piper, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Yeah, I've just random interviews of the natural disasters and IRS, Legion of Doom and Big Boss Man. But what I love about the Survivor Series is the elimination match, which is the Beverly Brothers and the Nasty Boys versus the Rockers and the Bushwhackers. This was the final tease of Shawn Michaels turning heel. I think he turned heel before the Royal Rumble 1992. In a segment on the barber shop, if I do recall. But like I said, this was the tease of the Rockers arguing with each other, which cost them the elimination match. Then originally it was going to be a 4-on-4 match, which was Psycho's Pardon Sid Justice and Jake the Snake Roberts on the teams of the Big Boss Man, which was Sid Justice and IRS and Jake the Snake, I think. I don't know what happened to Psycho Sid on that match, but the main event was Legion of Doom and the Big Boss Man versus Natural Disasters and the IRS. It was a decent 6-man elimination match for what it was. But the end was Gene Oakland interviews The Undertaker and Paul Bearer. Now, in terms of ratings, I'm going to give UK Rampage a 7 out of 10. Battle Royale at the Albert Hall, I'm going to be fair, I'm going to give that possibly an 8 out of 10. SummerSlam 91, I'm going to give that, I'm going to be fair, I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. And 10 out of 10 for this pay-per-view. which is Survivor Series 91, just for how legendary this show is, still to this day. So, I'm going to do a couple of shout outs to the following guys. Ready Player Movies, Tweed Wrestling, who's done 2 great books. He loves his retro wrestling. He used to do like a retro wrestling quiz on a Sunday, which was fun. Jim Jam Movies and TV, who had his birthday yesterday, I believe. The legend that is Big Paulie. Mark Thomas Robb, also known as Farm Boy on YouTube. The legend that is Jamie Powell. My very good friend Beat Down Bunny. Nathan, the wrestling guy. And the guy I've just subbed to, which is Al. Magpie Movies, which is Geordie Paul, who yesterday did a review of the new film Napoleon, which is a good review to watch. Scottish Geek Guy. My very good friends Rebecca Louise. TV and Movie Junction, I think it is. And my very good friend Hale over at Small Screen and Big Screen. John from Mondo Chelevec Movies. Nigel from of Rock God 2004. Movie Tracks, which is Big Steve and Little Steve. Scott Meadows, which is Scotty's Movies and TV. Did you see that? Scott, the movie critic and Slayer reviews. So, guys, thank you for watching Mansell Media Corner, and please like, share and subscribe to my channel as well as the other guys' channels. They deserve a lot of love in the YouTube / BlueTube community. So anyhow, thank you for watching the Mansell Media Corner. There'll be some more reviews, as it's Survivor Series tomorrow, I do believe. So anyhow, thank you for watching the channel. Thank you and goodbye, guys. Thank you.